Consider supporting Review Tech USA on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. So it may be a little too early yet to say this will be a trend with the Xbox One X, but it seems like third-party games will look better on the Xbox One X mostly than they will on a PS4 Pro. Skip it up and that up. So the patch notes for The Evil Within 2 for the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro were released yesterday, and they're very interesting because the game will look better and run at a better resolution on the Xbox One X. Bethesda marked the improvements in their patch notes for both the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, and this is what will change with those systems. On the PS4 Pro, and this is where things get interesting right away, there will be an increased display resolution to 2240 by 1260 native resolution that will output at 3840 by 2160 if you have a 4K TV. The patch will allow for substantially higher frame rates when PS4 Pro output is set to 1080p. There will be improved frame rate stability and the option to disable 30 FPS limit for higher frame rates. That's what the patch will do on the PS4 Pro. Now here is what the patch for The Evil Within 2 will do on the Xbox One X, and things get interesting right away. The increased display resolution on the Xbox One X will be 3200 by 1800. That will be the native resolution of it, and of course it will output at 3840 by 2160 if you have a 4K TV. Big difference over the PS4 Pro's 2240 by 1260. On the Xbox One X, the patch will also improve frame rate stability, and again, you'll have the option to disable 30 FPS limit for a higher frame rate. So there you go. So now we have The Evil Within looking substantially better, we think, on the Xbox One X. Shadow of War, if you saw the Digital Foundry video, looks way better on the Xbox One X than it does on the PS4 Pro. You can't even compare. I mean, the difference is like night and day. Even if you don't have a 4K TV, you'll see the difference when you play Shadow of War in the Xbox One X compared to the PS4 Pro. Because if you played on the PS4 Pro Shadow of War, they don't actually give you the high-res textures like they do on the Xbox One X because the PS4 Pro doesn't have enough RAM. So this is a good sign for Microsoft that games will look noticeably better or somewhat better on the Xbox One X, especially because right now they're not really doing too well when it comes to first-party games. So this will be a good selling point for the Xbox One X if games, third-party games, do look better for the system compared to their competitors' high-end system. Now, we still need to wait and see if this will be a pattern where games consistently look better on the Xbox One X. There's actually an example that goes against this right now. Titanfall 2, Respawn Entertainment was saying, oh, on the Xbox One X, it'll actually, because they're going to have dynamic resolution, it'll actually scale above 4K to 6K, and you know, it's going to look amazing on the Xbox One X. And if you watch Digital Foundry's video, there are some issues with the Xbox One X version of Titanfall 2 where there's texture filtering issues and the frame rate actually goes lower than it does on the PS4 Pro. So, you know, there's an example of how games can go in the other direction. I think that's just an anomaly and they just need to do another patch for Titanfall 2. But it's out there and I have to mention it. But again, I'm happy to see this because my fear is that developers were just going to be like, all right, we have the PS4 Pro version. There's a bigger install base of the PS4 Pro than the Xbox One X. The PS4, the base one, is the most popular 8th gen console out there. Let's just plop the PS4 Pro code and just, you know, fix it up a little bit and put it over on the Xbox One X. And games wouldn't really look that much better. But if we see this continue, this will be a huge selling point for the Xbox One X. And like I just said before, due to the fact that at least right now, there's not that many big first-party titles that people are jumping at on the Xbox One X. This may be the X's biggest selling point. Look, you spend $100 more and games like Shadow of War, which may just be an exception, look substantially better than they do on the PS4 Pro because these are the people, this demographic that both the Pro and the Xbox One X are going after. They're going to be interested in these differences. They're going to be like, man, you know, yeah, it's $100 more and that kind of hurts, but ooh, you know, like Shadow of War looks a hell of a lot better. The Evil Within 2 runs at a better resolution. That's what I'm buying this system for. I'm buying it because I want to use it on my 4K TV and get the most out of it. If the Pro is not going to do that for me, I'd rather invest the extra $100 in the Xbox One X and get these better resolutions and better textures and better lighting and shadows and draw distance. So that market that both these consoles are going after, the fact that games are starting to look better on the Xbox One X will appeal to that consumer. So this may be a bigger deal than a lot of you guys realize. And there's another thing that I want to address that I have seen on Facebook, I have seen in social media. And I'm calling out my PC elitist brothers. Even though I don't consider myself a PC elitist, I prefer the PC platform, but I'm very well aware of its shortcomings. But come on, guys. We need to face reality here. Right now, the Xbox One X, for what you're getting for $500, you cannot build a PC in the same price point that can do the same thing. You're not going to get a PC that has the same performance, that has a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player, and handles games the same way for $500. Maybe for $700, $750, $800, but no, not for $500. So stop. I've seen, I could just build a PC that does the same thing for the same price, if not cheaper. No, you can't. Stop. You can't. At least not practically, unless like parts fell off of a truck somewhere, quote unquote, and people sell a GTX 1070 on eBay for $200 and you make a build around that. It's just not happening. And it's just funny to see that, all the butthurt PC fanboys trying to, say, I could do the same thing on PC, same price. Same price. No, you can't. It's time to stop. But anyway, this is interesting to see that games are looking better. I guess it's very easy for developers. Like I said, it could be. I said this was a possibility many, many moons ago to just take the PC version and shoehorn it onto the Xbox One X and whittle down whatever they have to make it, to get around the limitations of the hardware. And then they just whittle it down even more for the PS4 Pro, like I said a long time ago. And that seems to be what's happening. So that's a good thing for people that are excited for the Xbox One X, because they're going to get what they paid for. Better looking games than they would be on the PS4 Pro. This is Richard Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. And to hear more content like this, make sure to subscribe to Review Tech USA.